Good afternoon, everybody on YouTube. This is Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. Today, we are been working on my studio and just want to talk about a lot of changes that's going on here at Obsolete Video Services. I think you guys will find it very interesting. Also, we're going to be offering a lot of stuff coming up, but we'd like to talk about some of the changes. And of course, we're going to start with the racks. So far, we're up to 3 racks. I'm probably going to get one more rack for some miscellaneous video decks that I don't have sitting here at the moment. But we're pretty well set up with everything that's pretty much in demand at the moment. So I want to walk through with some of the changes I've been doing. A lot of changes, a lot of figuring out how I want to do things in the way I want to do it. But anyways, let's step over here for a minute. I placed an order for a lot of special short copper-clad BNC cables. As you can see, these things are fantastic. These are basically the hookup cables which you use, when you're hooking up your equipment through BNC, which I did all these in the back, as you can see, which goes into this front panel. Okay, we're going to have access to every Betacam SP there is, digital and high definition as well. And of course 3/4 Urmatic SP as well. This is one rack for the pretty much prevalent video decks that I have call on almost all the time. Most people ask about these particular tapes like constantly. So we got all that worked out on this one rack with professional BNC cables through a patch bay, which patch bays through the front of the unit. All I have to do on this particular deal is drop and drag it over, do cables to my rack over there to do SDI capture. Now, I spoke in some previous videos, SDI is the best way to capture professional decks if they have SDI outputs, which most of these decks do. They have all SDI except for the one on top. And the one on top is the 3/4 Urmatic, which you have to use what's called a SDI analog converter box, which you see right there. Now, kind of lucky anyways, I just want to explain to you guys, I happen to get another one of these SDI boxes for free. Here's my second one. So now we have 2 SDI out boxes that we can actually use for analog to SDI. Now these boxes are a couple $100. Sometimes you see them like $250, $275. They're not cheap. We just happen to get one at Goodwill for virtually nothing, and this one here I put in today was actually dropped off with the video decks. When I got the video decks from Star Productions, he happened to be using one of those, and I asked if I can have that, so I was able to grab his SDI analog conversion box as well, which we was using for other equipment. Now here's the thing, guys. Obsolete Video Services is set up now for analog to SDI. I mean, almost all the prevalent formats that I'm getting called for, we're going through analog to SDI conversion. Now, I don't like using these conversion boxes like I spoke in the past, but unfortunately, the SDI outputs are not built into the older equipment like the 1-inch reel-to-reel deck you see here and the 3/4 Urmatic. Some of the older decks do not have SDI. They're just standard composite, and when you have standard composite, you do need conversion boxes such as this. So what I did is, we set up everything through SDI to be captured through SDI, which would be this whole rack, including the 3/4 Urmatic. The 1-inch machine is also going to be analog to SDI capture. And of course, we set up any miscellaneous things in this rack, which I have a DVC Pro, the Beta Max right there currently. And I got this space open in the center because you can see I have my analog SDI conversion box. All right, now here's the thing. What I did was I set up this particular rack to take SDI, any analog decks that I put in this particular rack, they're all analog. So those are analog to SDI outputs, which means I can capture an SDI capture to the ProRes, but on top of it, on this particular rack, everything goes through time-based correction and then SDI output to ProRes. So I'm able to use all the older decks through time-based correction on the bottom, through the switcher, and actually use it through SDI output. So you're able to get the best of both worlds. You're using an SDI converter from analog, and you're also getting time-based correction for all the decks that I would use in this particular rack. And that includes anything that's plugged into the front of the rack, reel-to-reel or anything like that. Even the reel-to-reel captures are going to be SDI capture now. So anything I do reel-to-reel, EIAJ, or any of the obsolete video formats, they will be captured SDI, time-based correction and SDI. You're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting top-of-the-line capture, and then when I capture to the computer, you're getting time-based correction and SDI capture to a MP4 capture or whatever. So we are completely set up for time-based correction and SDI capture through the main rack, and then of course these two racks could be adjacent to that rack, could be connected into that rack as well, so we can get total SDI high definition capture. This is a very big plus. I took about 4 hours today to redesign my system to make it user-friendly for the decks that I'm going to be working with. And here you go, guys. We're going to be able to do analog to SDI, and most of the video decks I got sitting here, 3/4-O-matic and all that, they're all going to go through SDI and actually time-based correction as well through my main rack. And then, of course, I can capture it in OBS, which is the OBS Studio. And anything that gets connected into this main rack will also go analog, SDI, and time-based correction as well. We are seriously set up here, folks. I mean, we're talking some top-notch capture here. So Obsolete Video Services is always improving its systems. It's always redesigning things. I'm always getting more and more equipment coming my way. So I want to make it user-friendly into my system. So I'm constantly redesigning all the time. So I hope you guys like this little video. And like I said, this is one serious studio, guys. So if you have anything you happen to need transferred or done, Obsolete Video Services is happy to help you out. Hope you enjoyed this video.